You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
This is Chip Gilchrist, voice of the Kingston Frontenacs. You're listening to OHL Overtime, an in-depth interview show highlighting the players, coaches, and broadcasters from around the Ontario Hockey League who make the league so great, as well as in-person coverage of events such as the OHL Playoffs, OHL Championship Series, OHL Combine, and more, exclusively on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Here's your program host, Brandon Caputo.
Welcome into another episode of OHL Overtime right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in live on our Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube channel and those listening the next day on your favorite on-demand audio platform. Brandon Caputo and guest co-host Joel Vanderlaan are going to break down the Erie Otters 4-0 defeat at the hands of the London Knights in Game 3 of their Round 2 Western Conference OHL playoff series between these two bitter Western Conference foes. London taking a 3-0 series lead in the best of 7. We're going to hear from Erie Otters head coach Kris Mallette, as well as London Knights forward and Edmonton Oilers first-round prospect Sam O'Reilly, to give their post-game thoughts. We're also going to get into the game stats, scoring summary, and Joel's player of the game in just a little bit. Make sure to give us a follow on X at Armchair GM Pod, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for all of our great short reels and content as well. So with that said, I'm going to welcome on my co-host now for tonight's episode. One of the 3 newest members of the Armchair GM Sports Network family. We had Colin Ward on for the Game 2 recap, and I'm pleased to welcome on Joel Vanderlaan, who's a contributor. It does great stuff with writing on our website, and pleased to welcome him to the show. Joel, thanks a lot for joining us tonight, and look forward to breaking down this Game 3 between London and Erie.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me, Brandon. It was an exciting game, and playoff hockey just adds to that, the excitement of the network and getting going here. So happy to be aboard.
Absolutely. It was my first experience here live, if you guys didn't know, I'm live at the Erie Insurance Arena tonight for this game. I got to hear my first Sweet Caroline London Sucks chant, which is a staple here in Erie. These Erie fans are quite rowdy. I remember coming to some Ice Dog games against Erie, and they get on it. So the playoffs has just ramped up to another level. I know the attendance was a little bit less tonight with it being a Tuesday night with school and things like that, but the announced attendance was 3,350 at the Erie Insurance Arena. Joel, it brings back flashbacks of some of those great games that we've seen over the past with the Erie Otters and the London Knights. You look back maybe even at some of those great playoff runs in 16 and 17 that come to mind, or even earlier when Connor McDavid was an Erie Otter and Mitch Marner was a London Knight.
Yeah, and I think that, too, you mentioned the chants they do and the songs they sing, and rivalries are built off playoffs, too. And I think as much as they play each other in the regular season and as much as they're battling in the standings all the time, those playoffs is what kind of ingrains those rivalries as well. And you mentioned it, Mitch Marner and Connor McDavid, 2 stars that went back and forth during their times in the OHL. So it's great to see that carrying on and the fans having fun with it. And it makes the game and viewing just that much more enjoyable.
No, it sure does, and we'll get things going here with the lineup and the prep list here, Joel. No real lineup changes for either team except in the Erie net. Noah Erliden did not finish Game 2. We thought it was due to a mask issue, but must have been a little bit more than that because Charlie Burns did play in the latter part of that game to finish off Game 2, and then he actually started tonight's game against the London Knights. So a tough situation for Charlie Burns to come into. Not a lot of playoff experience in his short OHL career with Niagara and here with Erie now. But, what did you think of Noah Erliden not being able to dress tonight?
Yeah, I think Charlie Burns did actually an admirable job coming in there. I know the end of the first didn't go the way Erie wanted, but he kept them in there through the early parts of the hockey game and kind of steadied the ship late as well. And I thought for a guy, first playoff start, he really asserted himself well in the net. And obviously, Erla not being in there, that's going to be a tough break for any hockey team when your starter's not available to go. And I think Erie can be happy in the way that Charlie Burns kind of showed out in his first playoff start.
Yeah, so that was really the only big lineup change for either team in Game 3. A couple lineup adjustments for Kris Mallette up front, but nothing too significant as far as, they're still missing Carey Terrance and still missing Matthew Schaefer, and obviously we might be talking about a different series if the projected #1 overall pick in the upcoming National Hockey League draft and a guy that logs, 35 minutes a night and one of the best two-way defensemen in all the Ontario Hockey League, Matthew Schaefer's in this game here, Joel.
Yeah, I think you saw it too at the World Juniors when he went down, just how important of a player he is for any team he's on. And Carey Terrance, the captain of this Erie Otters squad, signed with the Anaheim Ducks. That's a big hole down the middle of your center ice depth. And that's kind of the way those two guys go is kind of how your team goes most nights. And you got to give them credit for getting past Saginaw without him. And it's a tough series against London, even if those guys are in the lineup every night. So they're battling. They're playing hard every night. They're giving everything they got. But with those two guys, we knew it was going to be a tough matchup, and you can kind of see that how much they are just missing them right now.
No, absolutely. Two big important pieces to this Erie Otters team, and you can tell the rest of the guys are doing what they can. The Sam Alfanos, the Panofemuses, and those other players that have helped the Erie Otters get to this point. They're doing all their best, but when you're going up against 13 NHL prospects on London's side, it's a tall task even with a full lineup. But we'll get further here, Joel, with the game stats tonight. It was a very lopsided first period as far as the shots on net. We're going to get into the goals and things like that, but London first period 18-5 as far as shots. They end up out shooting the Knights 39-23 by the end of it. So when you look at it, Charlie Burns makes 35 of 39 saves. Did what he could, made some real nice saves tonight, and one of his better performances, even though London came out with the victory. But what were your thoughts from the shots on net?
Yeah, I think too, and we kind of touched on it early, is London just kind of broke through there at the end of the first, and all credit to Charlie Burns keeping them in there for as long as he did. We'll go through the scoring summary goal by goal, I assume, but a lot of those were tough plays for him to make. Not a lot of goaltenders are making saves on those. And Austin Elliott, you're going to have to pepper him if you're going to want to beat him. And he showed why he's one of the best goalies in the league, a veteran guy, and he comes away with a shutout. So I think the shots, you can look at that as kind of a reason why London was able to take control of this game from the early onset.
And then the power plays tonight, Erie 0 for 5 on the man advantage, and they were actually very good coming into this game, Joel. They were almost 43% in the playoffs on the power play. We'll get into it a little later because it was a big moment in the game, but they had a 5-on-3 they weren't able to capitalize on. They end up 0 for 5. London 1 for 2 on their power play, and that was their insurance marker in the second period from Kasper Halttunen. But for Erie, definitely disappointment and missed opportunities with the few man advantages that they had.
Yeah, I think when you look at that 5-on-3, like you alluded to, that was kind of the chance to get back in the game and, okay, can we make this something there? And London shut the door on that. And London shows why they're so good. Their structure, their defensive prowess, the NHL defensive prospects they have, as you mentioned, all the guys that are NHL drafted, and they really shut the door on a good Erie power play, like you mentioned, and that was one of the reasons they were able to take control of the game and not release that lead and just kind of slowly bleed out the game as they did tonight.
Yeah, and then the face-offs tonight, 34-26 in favor of the London Knights. And the reason I wanted to talk to Sam O'Reilly was that he had a very good bounce-back game on the dot tonight. He only won 2 of 14 face-offs in Game 2. Very unlike him to have that type of percentage, but he bounces back 15-22 on the dot tonight. Jacob Julian 8 19. Will Nickel was 6 of 9, so a good percentage for him. And Pano Femus, who broke the record for most faceoffs, won this past season for the Otters. That was the difference. He was only 9 of 24 for somebody that's usually pretty solid. Frasca, 8 of 19. The Knights won some very key defensive draws in this game, Joel, especially on the penalty kill. There was one where, I don't even think they swiped it back. They just swiped it forward down the ice for a clear, and it was really the difference. I feel like one of the main differences about why their penalty kill was so good.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you talk about home ice, you talk about matchups, line matching, and usually for Erie, right, it's Pano Femus, and you send him out there to win those draws for you. Like you mentioned, he sets the record for most faceoff wins, and London was able to keep that at bay tonight, and that goes so far when you're on the road, and you can kind of take that matchup away a little bit. And Sam O'Reilly, 15 for 22, then that's a real bounce back for him, and a real reason why London won this game as well.
We'll get forward with our scoring summary, and it was, again, a scoreless first for most of it. Charlie Burns was up to the task. I believe he had 14 saves before this flurry happened for the London Knights, and before you could blink, it's one from Easton Cowan, from Oliver Bonk and Jared Woolley. I think this is probably the only goal that Charlie Burns is going to want back tonight. Cowan cut down that right wing. He was on his backhand, and I don't know if that went 5-hole or short side, but compared to most of the saves that Charlie Burns made in this game tonight, I think that's one that he would say that he would have if he were to redo it.
Yeah, and I think, too, the speed of Cowan, right, coming down the wing, and the ability to go to that backhand, and that's a save he probably would like to have back, but Erie has to respect the speed of Cowan coming down there, and a good job by him to get to the backhand there with a guy on him and open the scoring. And that's Easton Cowan saying, hey, we got to get going here. We're out shooting them. We got to get a lead here, and he put his team on the back there.
Yeah, it just continues to be dominant in the short playoffs that they've had, because they've been able to win 4-0 against the Owen Sound Attack, and now they're up 3-0 against the Erie Otters. So he's only played in 7 playoff games, but he's got up to 7 goals and just an incredible point total for the Toronto Maple Leafs. First rounder gets them going. He talked to us in the postgame saying he was looking forward to coming here. They hate the London Knights here in Erie, and the Knights kind of feed off that about being the enemies here when they come to the EIA. But as quick as you could blink, Joel, the second goal goes in for Landon Sim off the next faceoff from a point shot from Sam Dickinson. Really nice tip from Landon Sim. Nothing Charlie Burns can do on that. And 2 goals in 14 seconds after such a great first period by the Otters. It really shell-shocked the crowd here tonight.
Yeah, and there's, like you mentioned, there's nothing Charlie Burns can do on that. That's a heck of a redirection by Landon Sim, and he's got six goals already as well. So they've played a short amount of games, like you mentioned, because they're getting through these series quick. But these guys are scoring a lot of goals and a lot of timely goals, and that's definitely a backbreaker to see that red light turn on so quickly again.
So you thought London, okay, they're going to go in with a 2-0 lead late. Erie's still in this game, just a couple of quick ones. And then all of a sudden, less than 20 seconds later, I don't know what Erie was doing defensively. They kind of got a little lax. Maybe they were still trying to figure out what had just happened on the previous 2 goals. Jacob Julian goes in there, taking the pass from Jesse Nurmi with his second assist in less than 20 seconds. Julian gets the shot off, gets his own rebound with Burns sprawled out, and all of a sudden the Knights have 3 goals in the span of 31 seconds to take a 3-0 lead and really get this raucous crowd here at Erie Insurance Arena wondering what the heck just happened.
Yeah, and I think to what you kind of said there, that's a momentum goal. That's Erie's got their head spinning. London's, hey, let's keep extending this lead here, and credit to Jacob Julian to put it home the rebound, and Jesse Nurmi, like you said, he's got 2 assists in less than 20 seconds. So that's okay. We're going to take control of this game kind of play, and they did. And credit to London to get those 3 goals in quick strike fashion there, and really take a stranglehold on the hockey game.
Couple other notes that I took in that first period. There was a 2-on-1 that Austin Elliott made a huge blocker save on after the teams had kind of opened up a little bit. There was a chance for London the other way, and then a 2-on-1 save by Austin Elliott, sprawling out, making the blocker save. He really hasn't been tested the first two games, Joel, and again, like how impressive he's been with only one loss this season. His first two performances didn't really jump out at the page to me, but tonight, not just taking the shutout away from it, I really thought Austin Elliott had clearly his best performance so far through the 3 games of the series.
Yeah, I think he had an outstanding hockey game, and I think it's the timely saves to keep the team in it. And he already had chances early to kind of get on the board and get this game going. And Charlie Burns was holding them in, and they had a couple chances on Austin Elliott, and just didn't come to fruition for them. And Elliott had those timely saves which they needed, and it's a big reason why they won this hockey game. You might look at the shots, you might look at all of this and that, but he deserved to be the first star of the hockey game.
No, he absolutely did, and there was also a big hit at one point by Landon Sim along the boards on Martin Misiak. Landon Sim's just a player, Joel, that you hate to play against, but you love to have him on your team. He can score goals, he can hit, he can agitate the other team. He's just you could see why he was invited to Devils rookie camp, because I think this guy plays a style that a pro team is going to like, even at the American Hockey League level. Just one of those pesky players that can really do it all and really get under the other team's skin.
Yeah, he's a professional player, and he had 30 goals for a reason in the regular season. And like you said, he's got that bite to his game. And when you come deep in the playoffs and when you have aspirations like London does, he's a great player to come in and kind of take that middle six role. And everyone talks about Barkey, Cow, and Halton and all of these guys, but Landon Sim's right there. 6 goals in 7 playoff games, and he's helping to drive the bus as well.
Then in the second period, not a whole lot of goals in this period, Joel, but it was some big saves by Austin Elliott. It was also a beautiful passing play that we saw that could have been another goal for London with O'Reilly, Cowan, and Barkey. Those 3 are just so good, and I asked Sam O'Reilly about that in the postgame, about what makes those 3 click, and you can just tell, like, the way that they're able to move the puck around. Sometimes they're passing it to where the players aren't even yet, and they're still getting to those pucks. The sense those guys have for where each other are on the ice is pretty incredible, and they set up a few plays, and Burns had to come up with some spectacular saves on some one-timers and shots in tight. When you've got number 23, 7, and 86 going, it's pretty fun to watch in the offensive zone.
Yeah, it really is, and like you mentioned, you can see the chemistry, you can see the skill, and the sky's the limit for them, which is, as much as they score, as much as they do the little things right, you almost think, oh, there could be more offense, there could be more points, and that's a credit to them with all the chemistry and the passes they make, the speed they play at, and the little things they do right. And you can see why they're so successful. You can see why the team is so successful. And there are 3 guys that are going to have long pro careers and probably a long playoff run again this year. So they're a treat to watch every night, and I think we can tell why Dale Hunter goes to them so often.
No, he does for sure. And later in the period, it's Casper Haltonen on the power play. It's such a pro-level shot, a guy that was sent back from the San Jose Barracuda, could be up in the American Hockey League right now. And he's playing third line, so it just goes to show how much depth is on this London team. He's able to get just enough of it, squeaking by the glove of Charlie Burns there. An Erie player tried to sweep it off the line, but it was too late. And that one felt like the dagger at 4-0, Joel. And it's unfortunate because Charlie Burns really did all he could to keep them in this game. But he looked frustrated after that one. But I'm really not going to blame number 35 in the Erie net tonight, because he was going up against a juggernaut and held his own there. But that was the London goal midway through the second, which was their final goal of the game.
Yeah, I don't lay any blame on Charlie Burns, and like you mentioned, Haltonen's another guy that's going to have a long pro career and pro release on his shot, and you can see why the San Jose Sharks are so high on him. Team Finland, he was scoring goals in the World Juniors, so He's a guy that's an excellent power play player. Just because of he's got that release, he can score from anywhere at any time. And I know Burns probably wanted to have that one back. He got a good amount on that shot, just squeaked through. But the four guys that scored on him are four guys that are going to be playing pro hockey next year. And I think when you look at that and the amount of depth and the amount of scoring they just constantly throw at you, it's really tough to lay the blame at Charlie Burns tonight for this one.
Yeah, you could just tell Erie, just whatever they did, they felt like it wasn't enough when you're going up against 13 NHL drafted players and prospects. It's really just incredible to see. On the other side, London's got third liners that have NHL affiliation next to their name. They've got Cam Allen on the third D pair, who's a player for the Washington Capitals. It's just really tough when Erie's keeping their Sauter's blocking shots, Henry's blocking shots, they're doing all they can, but this London team has just been up to the task so far through the first three games. Something that I did want to mention in the third, because you met the 5-on-3 that we talked about earlier, that Erie had some carryover time in the third. They weren't able to get one past Austin Elliott, who was fantastic. But something you brought up to me during the game was Denver Barkey. Again, we talk about how great he is offensively. He's the captain of the team, but he doesn't do anything that he doesn't ask his players, his teammates, to do anything that he wouldn't do, and he showed exactly why. He takes key defensive zone faceoffs. He blocks shots on the penalty kill. He plays in all situations. And when the going got tough and Erie had a 5-on-3 and multiple power plays in this game, you saw guys like Easton Cowan, Denver Barkey, Sam Dickinson, I almost called him Radek Bonk, Oliver Bonk, killing penalties. And again, your top players doing the dirty work, not just getting all the glory on the offensive end. I think that's what separates the London Knights from a lot of other teams in this league.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And we go back to it, and it sounds like kind of repeating ourselves, but these guys are high NHL draft picks for a reason. And they're going to come in and they're going to have long pro careers. And it's because of this. It's because they do the little things. It's because they're unselfish. And everyone looks at the points because that's the thing to look at. But when you break down the game and you watch them live, you can see just how good they are at doing what their coach needs them to do to win hockey games. That's why when they were in their draft year, they went to the OHL finals. They lost to Peterborough, but they got there. As 18-year-olds, they won the OHL, and now as 19-year-olds, they got one last ride together before they head on to play in the NHL, AHL, wherever they're going to go. And you can tell how focused they are on trying to get that done and make it a memorable time and kind of cement themselves in the history of that franchise as guys that have 2 championships, guys that have been to the Memorial Cup twice. And I think they've really bought into what Dale and Mark Hunter want them to do, and they've done it for since they became London Knights. And I think that's why they have 13 players drafted, is because those NHL teams look at that and say, okay, we know these guys are brought up in the right system. They're doing what they need to do. And it's a credit to the organization. It's a credit to these young men. And you can see why they're 7-0 in the playoffs.
Yep, completely agree with everything you just said there. It's a well-oiled machine, and they just continue to show why this core has been so good over the last 3 seasons. Austin Elliott, 23 save shutout, well-deserved for him. Easton Cowan, 2nd star, a goal and an assist, and Jacob Julian was the 3rd star with 1 goal. Charlie Burns, honorable mention, 35 of 39, as I mentioned earlier. Really did all he could in a tough situation with Noah Erliden, their starting goaltender, still out of the lineup. So 4-0 is the final in favor of the road London Knights. They have a 3-0 series lead, and we'll see if the Otters can respond here with one on home ice on Thursday. But we still have more post-game reaction coming on the other side of the break. We're going to hear from Erie Otters head coach Kris Mallette, as well as we're going to hear from Edmonton Oilers prospect and London Knights forward Sam O'Reilly on kind of the way their playoffs have gone so far. So stay right here. We'll be right back on OHL Overtime right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network, on our YouTube live stream, and for those listening on your favorite on-demand audio platform. We're right back after this.
The great guys over at Hockey Stick Man are sponsoring this video. If you play hockey but are sick of paying upwards of $400 for top-end sticks, check these guys out. There's seriously no better place to shop. The guys are fun, easy, and offer a stress-free experience from start to finish. They get pro stock sticks from major junior teams right up to the NHL teams and sell them for half the price that the same stick would sell for at a retail store. To further support their mission of saving hockey families money, they offer closeout options, which entail taking last year's retail models and blowing them out for less than wholesale prices. It's literally the best prices on the internet for their sticks. And the best sticks of all may be their Pro Blackout series, which provide a top-end stick with no graphics and literally less than half the price of a branded top-end retail model. It's always been their best-selling stick despite super cool pro stock options. It's a no-brainer to shop with these guys, and trust me, they are beauties. Head over to hockeystickman.ca/thearmchairgm and get $15 off your first order. That's hockeystickman.ca/thearmchairgm to get an additional $15 off your first order when you sign up on their website. Check out our friends at Hockey Stick Man. Fourth Wall is the official merchandise supplier of the Armchair GM Sports Network. Our user-friendly site is print to order with no minimum items or inventory needed, shipped right to your doorstep safely and efficiently from their North American warehouse. All of our logos are available to supporters, listeners, and viewers can have the best variety available to them for their swag preferences. All items are priced as low as possible, allowing everybody who wants to support our business with the opportunity to do so, receiving quality and comfortable products in return. Shop today at fourthwall.com with the direct link to our Armchair merch store in the description of all episodes and in the bio of all of our social media accounts. Become an Armchair GM today with Fourth Wall.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network, the Niagara region's best local source for North American sports podcasting coverage. By sports fans, for sports fans.
Welcome back to part 2 of today's OHL Overtime Playoff Game Recap right here on the Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube channel and as well on all on-demand audio platforms the next day. Brandon Caputo and Joel Vanderlaan are back with you, continuing to break down Game 3 of this second-round playoff series in the Western Conference between the Erie Otters and the London Knights. Knights taking it 4-0 and lead the series, the best-of-7 series, 3-0, looking to advance to their third straight Western Conference Championship Series. The Erie Otters, again, undermanned without Matthew Schaefer and Kerry Torrance in the lineup as well, but a strong first-round performance against the defending, now out, Memorial Cup champion in the Saginaw Spirit. Thank you to those tuned in tonight and the next day on our favorite on-demand audio platform. Make sure to give us a follow on X at Armchair GM Pod, as well as on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok for all of our short reels and content. So, Joel, before we get to Kris Mallette, the head coach of the Erie Otters, for his post-game thoughts. Again, London 7-0 in the playoffs, and they look like they're on a mission to get to that Western Conference final. You feel for this Erie team without some key players, but a little bit before their window kicks in, they've got some good young players there. But from this London team, I know we're on the network. We're watching Kingston and Brantford and Windsor as well, Barrie, some really good teams left in the OHL playoffs, and we could be on our way to a heck of a Western Conference final if Windsor's able to close it out against Kitchener. But right now, do you see any team more impressive than this Knights team?
I don't think so. I don't think you can find a team that's as impressive at all three facets: offensively, defensively, and then in net. Like you said, they're just a well-oiled machine. They brought in Austin Elliott from the WHL, and he's been near perfect. They lost 11 games in the regular season for a reason. So, and that was at a time at Christmas where they had quite a few guys out of the lineup at the World Juniors too. So they've gone through stretches where they haven't had some of their top end guys, and they just continue to play the same way game in and game out. So I think when you look at the longevity of what they've done through the whole course of a season, you look at, okay, they've been to 2 straight championships. I think they're the team to beat in the OHL right now, and I'm not saying that Windsor maybe can't knock them off, or if Kitchener can get past Windsor somehow, it's anyone's game in a series, but just to look at what they've been able to do through their first 7 playoff games, it's going to be a real tough task to knock them off.
Yep, and Erie's going to have a chance on Thursday to hopefully avoid the sweep and send it back to a Game 5 in London on Friday night. We'll see if they can do that there. But let's get to Erie Otters head coach Kris Mallette and his post-game thoughts on his team's 4-0 loss to the London Knights. Let's hear what he had to say.
Well, I mean, I thought 19 minutes of the first period, we had ample opportunity to get on the board. Goaltender makes some really good saves, puck bounce here and there. Thought, looking at that, I didn't think we'd be down 3-0 going in, especially at that time period. Just a couple mental mistakes, and they just pounced on, those, and next thing you know, you're chasing it.
How frustrating is it? I mean, to a point. The guys seem to have the details and some of that pressure that maybe you'd been talking about yesterday, and it bounces.
Yeah, I mean, playoff hockey, it is crazy. It's, I truly do, I feel for the guys, for sure. It's not from lack of effort. It's not, they're a very good club across the hallway that have a lot of experience in these types of situations. Our guys are trying, and I think that, again, the details, I think we made a few adjustments that worked in our favor. But again, you spot a team like this, 3 goals, like you can watch the rest of the game. They just sat back and literally waited for us to make a mistake or force a play, and right back down our throats again. So, credit to Charlie Burns. I honestly think that, the score could have been a lot worse than it was, and he made some really key saves when he needed to.
When was the decision to go with Charlie? When was it ultimately made?
Well, when I didn't have the opportunity to play Noah, right? So, I mean, at that point, we weren't able to play him. So we've got obviously Chase Furlong, a younger draft pick of ours, up with us, and Burnsy. So he's in. This is his first taste of playoffs, and I thought again, the score could have been a lot more lopsided, I do believe, if he doesn't come up with a couple of those real big ones.
Chris, you got to start somewhere. What's the message to the guys headed into Game 4?
Again, cliche as it comes, it's playoffs. It's first to 4. We've, you've seen it. It's happened before. Our group now, this is a true character test for our players. We talk about wanting to spend more time together. We talk about wanting to be around each other. Well, starting on Thursday, that gives us an opportunity, and it's a 60-minute game that we've got to throw everything at these guys. They know that they're going to be, we're going to be pushing them. So I think it's a simple message that this comes from within the room. At this point, it's not about X's and O's. It's about the heart that we've got as a group.
Coach, you had the 5-on-3 there, and then some carryover time for the third. What did you see on that long power play there, and just not able to execute?
Yeah, execution was there. I thought we had chances again, but Elliott looks like he's about 10 feet tall right now. The traffic or a bounce here, I think one went through the crease, doesn't hit anything. There's opportunity to get some looks in on that net. I thought that, the crowd yelling shoot and our players gripping their sticks a little bit harder than they needed to probably added to the pressure. They want to score. We want to score goals, trust me. And I don't think the execution was terrible. I just think that obviously not getting a goal, the outcome makes it seem that way.
You've been in a lot of situations like this as a coach before, down 3-0, you have to win 4 straight now. So does anything change in your mind about the way the game's going to go as far as how you're going to game plan for it, or just same thing that you've kind of done already?
Well, yeah, again, like I alluded to earlier, it's about what we're going to do. We know that, if we play to a certain standard that we are capable of, limiting certain, puck decisions that we make, we're going to need some bounces. It's bottom line. We're going to need some bounces. We're going to have a solid effort from the 18 players that are in our lineup. And, game plan doesn't change. It's a very good hockey club over there. Our best players have to be our best players. That's bottom line.
Lastly, what was your thoughts of the atmosphere tonight for the London Erie series? Was it everything that you kind of expected with the Sweet Caroline chants and the 3 goals in the last minute to kind of silence them a little bit? But what did you think of the fans tonight?
Yeah, I mean, they are our sixth man. I wish we had something more for them to cheer about. And, starting early, I thought that it was electric. I thought our guys definitely fed off it, had the opportunities to really, probably get a few behind a really good goaltender, and we weren't able to, and obviously that sucks the air out of it pretty quick. So, again, expect a different team come Thursday. We still need the same fan support. We still need those guys cheering us on, because I know for a fact our group is going to be a determined group to spend some more time together.
There was Kris Mallette post-game after the 4-0 loss in Game 3 to the London Knights. Joel, again, Kris Mallette coming over from the Western Hockey League, so much experience with the Kelowna Rockets, and coming to this Erie team midway through the year, has really, talking to the broadcast team, Trevor Kubea and Sean Bednard, has really instilled a lot of confidence in these guys. You even saw in that game against the Peterborough Petes where he was defending his own players and almost wanted to go at Rob Wilson with that whole Donnybrook. But it seems like the experience Kris Mallette has brought over, the presence that he brings to the room, talking to Sean and Trevor, has been paramount to them being able to get to this point when maybe halfway through the year it didn't look like that.
Yeah, I think he's done a fantastic job, and you look at his experience in the WHL and in a big market there in Kelowna as well. So I really liked what he said is they're going to be a determined group, and it's about, hey, how are we going to respond to this? And I like that he talked about the brotherhood and wanting to stay and play for each other and keep this thing going. I think those are great talking points, and I do believe that that's what the Erie Otters are going to do here on Thursday night. And he made some good points too about it. It's not for a lack of effort. It's not for a lack of hard work. They played well in tonight's hockey game. It's just those moments of lapses or the moments where London kind of uses that high-end skill, that depth, that pedigree, and they kind of take over, and they get those swings where they can score on you so quickly or build up leads. And we mentioned Schaefer, Terrence out of the lineup. It's just tough to get back in those hockey games when London starts to put that weight on you. And but his hockey team is playing hard for him, and you can see they were playing hard for Charlie Burns as well tonight. Anything else stand out to you from what he had to say? I think no. I think a lot of what he said was good, and I think you can tell that it's about what they got to do. It's not about what the London Knights are going to do. It's we got a style of play. We got to stick to it. We got to execute it. It's what's got us to this point. And to your credit, like what you mentioned, is when he came over, this team really kind of took off and got through a playoff series against a good Saginaw team, a team that's gone far, a team that's got two of the best players in the CHL in Misa and Perek too. So they've been able to do it. They've done it for this head coach, and I think it's just getting back to that blueprint and trying to do that on Thursday night. Yeah, he said expect a different team come Thursday. So I think that was the message that he wanted to deliver to the fan base and to his team as they move forward. But we'll end things off here with our post-game interview with London Knights forward and Edmonton Oilers prospect Sam O'Reilly. Here are his thoughts on his strong game, bounce back on the face-off dot, and their performance so far through the first 7 games of their OHL playoff run. Here with London Knights forward Sam O'Reilly. Sam, really bounce-back effort from you personally on the face-off dot tonight. I know that Game 2 probably wasn't the performance you want, but talk about being able to bounce back and make some big offensive and defensive zone draws for your team in the win.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long playoffs, and you got to keep your mind right. And I mean, after a bad game like that, you got to go into the next one with a good attitude and try to do that. And kept digging in hard, and it turned out well for me.
Have you ever experienced anything like that in that final minute of the first, where you guys scored 3 goals in about 30 seconds there? What was kind of the atmosphere on the bench, and after you got the one, getting the other 2, were you expecting that?
No, it was a good late period push. I think we needed it, especially for our energy in the game. It wasn't our best effort in the first, and to come out hard in the last minute there was good for us.
Austin Elliott, the first 2 games maybe wasn't tested as much. Tonight he came up with some big saves and really earned that shutout. Can you speak to what he's been all year back there? Only 1 loss on the year. How much confidence does he give you guys back there?
No, he's been unreal all year. He's been helping us stay in some games where we're not playing our best, and he did that at times this game, and he's been doing it all year. So give a lot of credit to him, and he's been really steady for us.
After being drafted by Edmonton, you had an over point a game season in the regular season. Now 11 points in 7 playoff games. How do you feel about your game personally right now, and showing and making a good impression for your NHL club?
Yeah, no, I think it's been good. I mean, we've been winning games, and that's our focus right now. So all the personal stuff is it's been out of the way the whole year so far, I think, for our whole team, and we got to keep it that way because that's how we have our success.
How do you guys, are you able to kind of level the expectations because, the favorites going in and haven't lost the game in the playoffs? How do you guys keep level, keep humble, and know that you still have to go out there and perform every single game?
Yeah, every game in the playoffs is going to be a battle, and I think we found that out last year. And gotta have a good mindset going into each game and being dialed in and ready to go because, one game carries on to another. And, if you're coming out, soft one night and it'll lead into the other night. So gotta come out hard and give our best effort every night.
Lastly, I want to talk about your line for a second because you, Cowan, and Barkey, seems like it doesn't matter where you guys are in the ice, you find each other. You guys have fantastic chemistry, the way you're able to kind of move the puck around. What is it like playing with those guys, and why do you think you guys complement each other?
Yeah, they've been great for me, and I hope I've been good for them as well. But no, it's been good. We all, we have the same mindset, and it's getting the puck deep and working and using our, tenacious effort on the forecheck and hounding pucks hard, and comes out well, and try and stick to a good D zone, and from there we work up, and it's been working well for us, and we've been positive about our games.
Thanks, Sam. Best of luck the rest of the way.
Have a good one.
There was London Knights forward Sam O'Reilly, 1 assist on the night, but was a strong guy on the dot for them tonight. 15-22, up to 11 points in 7 playoff games. Joel, what did you think of what Sam O'Reilly had to say after tonight's game?
Yeah, I really liked what he had to say, and I think that staying humble and not getting too far ahead of yourself, I think that was a good question by you as well. And I think for fans, it's easy to look ahead, right, and say, oh, well, we're the favorites, and we're running through this. But I like Sam's response and saying, hey, it's not about the points. It's not about thinking about Edmonton 2-3 years down the road. It's about here and now and tonight, and and to his credit, putting that game away that he maybe didn't have the greatest face-off percentage, and he came back tonight and he was able to dominate in the circle. And I really liked what he had to say about living in the moment and playing for his teammates. And I think that's part of the London way, part of the London success as well.
His chemistry with Easton Cowan and Denver Barkey, like we mentioned earlier in the show, just it's so fun to watch because each of them complement each other so well with the way they're all able to really move around in the offensive zone and find each other where people won't even know that they're around, and they don't even know they're going to spots where the puck isn't even yet. The anticipation of those three together, you can tell why they won 54 games this year in the regular season and were so good. I mentioned it earlier, but if they continue to fire on all cylinders like that, they're going to be tough to beat, even for a team like Windsor that could probably put up a top line next to them formidably. But yeah, O'Reilly, Cowan, Barkey, as long as they're humming, it's going to be tough to beat this London team.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I think they have that pedigree of they've been there, they've done that as well, right? So I think that's a big calling card for them, and like you said, they just complement each other so well, such good chemistry, high-end skill, doing the little things every night, and they're a treat to watch.
Yeah, there was one criticism. London didn't go perfect on the power play tonight. They were 1 of 2. So if you have to, then they even wanted to score on that second one. They were frustrated they couldn't score. So they want perfection and they expect better of themselves, even in a solid 4-0 win. But before we get out of here tonight, we're going to put our co-host Joel on the spot here with our stick tap of the game, brought to you by Hockey Stick Man. Pro stock hockey sticks from major junior teams right up to the NHL teams for half the retail price. A stress-free shopping experience from start to finish. Check them out at hockeystickman.ca to join the mission of saving hockey families money. Joel, who's your player of the game tonight?
I'm going to go with Sam Dickinson. He was on the ice for 3 of the 4 goals, and he's just an elite defenseman, offensively, defensively, and Sam Elliott gets the shutout, and deservedly so. And I think he likes playing behind a lot of those NHL drafted defensemen, and Sam Dickinson's a guy that eats minutes for them. And he was excellent once again, and part of the defensive structure. Their ability to keep Erie at bay tonight goes to Sam Dickinson as well.
I feel like he didn't come off the ice the entire first period. I felt like he played, probably 18 to 20 minutes. I know he didn't, but every time I looked, it was number 3 out there. He just is a horse back there and logged so many minutes for this London Knights team. He had a couple of key blocks in that first period as well. So if Erie could have scored 1 or 2 in the first period, maybe we're talking about a different game, but Sam Dickinson, as you mentioned, even though he didn't put up a ton of points in this game, had 1 assist, but was very integral to why this team was able to win and why they've been winning all year. Just, a guy that does everything for them in all, 200 feet of the ice.
Yeah, and I think when you look at the stats, plus 64 in the regular season, and in the playoffs now he's a plus 13 in 7 games, and it's just a credit to being able to put up some points as well, and actually quite a few points for defensemen, but also just being so defensively responsible. And like you mentioned, they pour him the minutes. He's out there, it seems like, for half the game. You always see him power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5. So to put up those numbers, the impressive numbers he does, and to do the little things he does, we talk about that a lot with London, but that's how you win. That's how you sustain winning streaks, is you're able to do that on a consistent basis. And he's a guy that is the epitome of what it is to be an elite defenseman in this league.
I would have loved to see him going up against 48 on the other end, who logged so many minutes for the Erie Otters and still ranked number 1 in today's final Central Scouting rankings, even though he hasn't played in 3 months, in Matthew Schaefer. Don't really think he has much more to prove about what type of defenseman he's going to be in the National Hockey League level. But so, Joel, as we wrap it up here, Knights up 3-0. Erie's got to come out Thursday and, in a do-or-die situation, they have to win to get back to London. So, in your opinion, what do you think Erie has to do to at least take a game on home ice and not or avoid the sweep?
Yeah, I think it goes back to those kind of momentum swings where London gets those 4 unanswered goals, and I think they've done it in 3 straight games where they've had those stretches, and I think it's stopping that from kind of becoming an avalanche, so to speak. When London gets 1, you can't let it get to 2, to 3, to 4. And the other thing is, I think they played pretty solid in front of their goaltender, but you just tighten up, kind of try to keep this London offensive attack at bay a little bit, because when they do come in waves and they start to feel like they can take over the game, it's really hard to stop. And on the other end, I think it's about tonight. It was kind of those stretches where you have the 5-on-3. It's capitalizing on those, and if London continues to shut those down, or they build momentum off that as well. And I think it's kind of in front of that crowd. I think it's going to be a good crowd on Thursday night. Score early, get some momentum, and kind of keep London away from feeling like they can kind of do whatever they want, which they can do at times.
Yeah, and this game went a lot quicker than Game 2 with a lot of extra stoppages and things like that. So I think Erie wants to kind of stay away from that because it's playing right into London's hand. But so that's it. London wins at 4-0 in Game 3, and Erie's going to have to avoid the sweep here on Thursday. Expect a bigger crowd here at Erie Insurance Arena. Tuesday nights are very tough for a lot of families to be able to get out to during the school year. So with that said, Joel Vanderlaan, thanks so much for joining us, Joel. I know doing some great written pieces here for the network during this playoff run, and look forward to having you on for more shows as we finish off the rest of the playoff run and going into next season. It's going to be fun to have you around.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Really appreciate it, and really enjoy doing it. Really enjoy submitting the right written pieces and talking to so many great players and executives and coaches around the OHL. And there's a lot of good people out there with a lot of good stories, and thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Check out Joel's articles on armchairgmsports.com. But for tonight's episode, that's going to wrap it up for another OHL playoff game recap right here on OHL Overtime as part of the Armchair GM Sports Network. London Knights 4, Erie Otters 0 in Game 3 of their second-round OHL playoff matchup. We'll see if Erie can avoid the sweep on Thursday night back here in the EIA. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in live on our Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube channel and those listening the next day in your favorite on-demand audio platform. For Joel Vanderlaan, my name is Brandon Caputo. Have yourself a great rest of your night, and we'll talk to you again very soon.